Hey, what is up, people? Skywalker Hendrix here, back with another video for you guys today. And today we are looking at the Clone Commander Cody from Hot Toys. Funny enough, this was actually, I want to say this was actually Hot Toys' first Clone Trooper figure that they ever did. Which is very cool that they're coming back around, making improvements, and giving us kind of, people have been calling it a 1.5. But I think it is, like, fair enough to say it is a 2.0 Cody. They give you some new helmet, and yes, we'll get into all the, controversies, I guess, of the Phase 1 helmet. But they also threw this guy on an updated body to make him more in line with what the clones were getting nowadays. And not to say that the original Cody was any slouch, that was definitely not the case. I think they absolutely killed it with that release, and if that was the only Cody that we got in the Hot Toys line, I think it still 100% holds up today. But it is nice to get the most updated body, some updated paint apps, and just a nice refresh on the Clone Commander Cody figure from Hot Toys. Now, this is a Hot Toys exclusive, so it was just a little bit harder to get. I don't even think it was all that hard to get. But this is just great for new collectors, as the original Cody has climbed quite a bit on the aftermarket. It's not like super crazy, but it definitely has gotten up there, like in the $400 range. So it is just awesome for new collectors that, maybe weren't collecting back when that Cody first came out. I believe it came out in like 2018. So, and like I said, yeah, it was their first attempt at a clone trooper. And while they killed it back then, it is nice, yeah, to just get a little bit of a refresh on the character and finally get that Phase 1 helmet. Funny enough, they aren't showing the Phase 1 on the box, which I thought was interesting. I figure maybe that was a kind of last-minute inclusion just to spruce things up, but taking a look at the package, we do got all your legal information on the back there. Some nice promo images of the figure on the side banner and the front banner here, along with the main image on the front there. Just looking absolutely fantastic in my opinion. But you guys want to see the figure, so let's get him out of the package. First up, while opening this guy, you will find a little insert kind of sleeve thing. These are pretty standard across all Hot Toys, kind of showing you a nice glam shot of the figure. And yeah, this guy looks amazing. They're, giving you the unhelmeted look, and then the classic Commander Cody. We do have a tease of some other figures. Obviously, this is what they do. I don't think these are actually pictures of figures. I think those are screen grabs from Revenge of the Sith. But we do have the Airborne, which obviously came out with this guy. I also do have the Airborne in hand. His review will be next, so stay tuned for that. Very excited to review that Airborne, as it's a figure we've been just itching for in the Hot Toys line. But more importantly, a figure that I've been asking for years, and a grunt. So I don't criticize Hot Toys much. I'm a company guy, if you will. So the fact that they have been neglecting this 2/12 grunt for so long is criminal, in my opinion. We desperately, as collectors, need a 2/12 grunt. I will buy 4 of them. I may even buy 6 of them. It is my favorite Legion, and we have tons of 501st representation in the Hot Toys line at this point. We have 2 different versions of 501st grunts, so I think Hot Toys can, give us an orange one and make us all happy. I really, really hope that is coming soon. And just like the Airborne Trooper there, The 212 Grunt right next to him was shown in 2019. Both of those figures were shown in 2019, and it's 2025, and we're just now getting this Airborne Trooper. So please, Hot Toys, give us the 212 Grunt. It is my favorite Legion. I need it. All right, and getting him laid out in his tray. If you have the original Cody, this is a very similar presentation as to how he came, but we do get a nice little tray with some accessories, and I will pop this off to get a closer look at everything in there. Some nice Hot Toys ASMR. So a unique thing about the Cody figure, which I was hoping they would have gotten rid of this. I just feel like they could have done something better by giving us just a hand to plug in, because this joint right here, I think it just, it's not terrible by any means, and I don't think it ruins the articulation of the figure, but this arm obviously pops off, right there. So whereas this arm is just a standard action figure arm, so this one works fine, but you just, the forearm might pop off from time to time. I just wish they gave us the hand. I get it, you want to be able to plug this in because this does light up. I don't know, I guess it's a compromise. I don't display light up effects in my collection. I just feel like it, and no shade to anyone that does. I appreciate seeing people's collections that are they put the time and effort into making the light up features look good. I don't have the patience for that. So in the end, if I'm gonna just make it look cheap, I'm not gonna do it. I really like a nice clean collection as well. No wires, a bunch of, cluttering of outlet boxes, things like that. But it is still a cool accessory, and I actually do use it on my OG Cody in the collection, because obviously I do have him with the Order 66 hologram, and that just plugs in very nicely in here, and I actually like it a lot because you can kind of, this hand doesn't articulate, obviously, so when he's holding it, you kind of got to play with the angles, and you can actually plug it in and have it, it's not a ball joint, but it can act like a ball joint in a way where you can kind of angle it off to the side if you need to, or angle it this way, stuff like that, to make it look better, like he's actually looking at the hologram. But I will pull that OG Cody out, who is displayed with this, obviously just not lit up. But they also do give you a Airborne, which I do believe we did get with the OG Cody as well. I think all of these are just thrown in from what we got with the OG. But still very cool, obviously, that they threw it in this time, and it doesn't specifically have to be an Order 66 specific scene that you're recreating. It is still just a cool hologram hand. But I do wish they foregoed the light up feature just for a swap out hand with the hologram thing plugged in, just to maintain the integrity of the body underneath the figure. But like I said, it's not the end of the world. I was messing with this already to see if it was prone to popping off, and mine seemed very nice, so hoping that that is not an issue when posing. But we do get a little Yoda, which is absolutely fantastic, and we actually do have a hologram piece from the clone pilot So all of these are actually compatible with that Clone Pilot hologram piece, which is very nice. You can kind of use different accessories for different figures. But yeah, you got all your gesture hands, anything you would need for a Cody. You know, just like the Order 66, you might want a Blastum hand as well. So just very cool. Obviously, we've seen these before, but still nonetheless very cool. Also got some swap out wrist pegs there in case you break one, which is very nice. So he also does come with his little jetpack piece. Very nice. Again, we've seen pretty much all of these previous, but it is just cool, especially for new collectors, to get a Cody in the collection. I'm definitely happy for some people that maybe missed out in the past. We also do have some little pieces. I'm not going to grab them out, but we do have his shoulder antenna and then helmet antenna. Very nice that they package those separately so that they stay nice and safe in transit. And then we do have his weaponry, classic clone blaster there. Very nice. And then we have the long rifle blaster. Like I said, stuff we've seen. I have tons of these from other Clone Trooper figures, so nothing really new here to talk about, but just very cool that they add them in, especially these blaster pistols. These are very cool, as I feel like we see him at some point in the Clone Wars using the pistols, the kind of commander pistols. And then another thing that, again, not new to the set, but very nice that they still included this. The Commander Cody head sculpt is, you know, has been one of their best head sculpts. Obviously, this is before moving eyes were standard on every figure, but I think this gets the job done. And I would say 99% of people do not display their clones with the helmet off. So I think the moving eyes, in my opinion, are kind of irrelevant on this piece. I'm totally fine them throwing in the same head sculpt as, I mean, look at it. It looks fantastic. Updated paint apps on this guy, so we're getting even cleaner paint apps than what we got in 2018. Not saying that that sculpt or paint on that sculpt was bad, but just, you know, Hot Toys has improved very, very vastly since 2018. So getting an updated painted Tem head is just very cool. And something cool I was actually just talking to some buddies about is throwing this on, even though yes, the scar is very Cody specific. You can't really like see the scar from a distance or like different angles. So like you could throw this on like your Clone Commando or your, you know, plain white Phase 1 and 2 clones. Like you could throw this on any Clone Trooper. I've even seen, actually my buddy sent it to me, Jedha Patrol actually threw this on a Boba Fett, which was very cool. So a lot of use that you could get out of that head sculpt, but kind of the main attraction for me, if it did not come with this, I probably would have passed on this set entirely. But this was an absolute win for me. If you are familiar with the channel, Phase 1 Cody is up there. I mean, he's probably top 2 my favorite Clone Trooper designs. So I love Phase 1. Phase 1 is my go-to for Clone Troopers. I still absolutely love and adore Phase 2, but Phase 1 is where it's at for me. Like if I had to pick, I would easily pick Phase 1 in the display. And yeah, this thing looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. cannot wait. And this is the main reason I got this, so I could specifically display Phase 1 Cody. Finally, so happy. I'm over the moon about it. Dude, I love Phase 1 Cody. Besides Bakara, which Hot Toys, please give us a Bakara. But besides Bakara, Phase 1 Cody is my favorite Clone Trooper design of all time. So very happy they threw that in. Now, first impressions on Cody. I can already tell, I haven't like messed with my original Cody in a while, but I can already tell this is on a bigger body, and just like a nice sturdier body. The proportions, like off rip, bro. Like I can tell the proportions just are so much better. Just everything about this guy looks absolutely beautiful. And yes, elephant in the room. I know people are going to comment it, but throwing in the Phase 1 helmet, yes, I know that this body is not accurate for the Phase 1 look, but I would rather them throw in the Phase 1 head and letting us put it on an inaccurate body than just to maybe not ever give us a Phase 1 specific look. You never know. Maybe Hot Toys or maybe Lucasfilm did not approve of a Phase 1 Cody, or since he hasn't shown up in live action yet, they just aren't going that route yet for making figures. So whatever the case may be, I am just glad that they threw it in for us to decide. And again, just very nice to get this figure back out on the market for new collectors, because Cody is a very important part of Revenge of the Sith and also the Clone Wars. So getting him in the collection, I think, is a must for any, Star Wars prequel era collector. All right, now getting Commander Cody out of the package. He looks absolutely fantastic. I am just really blown away with the proportions on this guy. He looks like an actual guy in a costume, or in armor, if you will. The weathering just looks absolutely fantastic. Everything about him, I think, feels like an upgrade over the original version. Now again, I think if you are always going to display Cody Phase 2, I think there's really no need to get this figure, unless you just want these minor upgrades, like the body underneath is just a lot better. It's, Hot Toys has really taken steps to improve the clones, even, minor things like ditching, like, ratchets in the hips. The original clones had ratchets in the hips, so it would click out, and you couldn't get a lot of... There was no middle ground for articulation points. Wasn't the end of the world, and, the 501st Trooper, the original 501st Trooper was like that as well. And, I display those figures just fine. You make it work. But, if I had to choose, I'd rather have a smooth joint. And you still want it sturdy, but just a little bit more versatility in how you can move the legs. Little things like that, I think, just improve this figure a lot for me personally. And like I already said, that Phase 1 head sculpt or helmet is just what I have been looking for. It has been like a top want for the collection for a long time now, so I'm just very excited to have Phase 1 Cody on the shelf. I think it's going to look absolutely amazing. But with no further ado, let's jump right into some comparisons, because I know y'all want to see what this guy looks like next to the original Commander Cody. Alright, and getting the original Cody out here. As you can see, like I said, he is posed in that Order 66 scene. Just classic. I love the pose I have him in. It is his forever pose. He will never leave this pose as long as he is in my collection. But as you can see, the new Cody is quite a bit larger than this original one. And I think it's more in line with the bodies that they're using for clones nowadays, which is nice because he'll be consistent with a lot of the clone troopers that have been coming out recently. But the original Cody, I wouldn't say like scales bad or like looks short in the collection. I actually never like noticed it until seeing this new Cody. And yeah, I think the proportions overall look a bit better on this guy right here. He actually looks like someone wearing a suit of armor. As you can see, like the hip area, like right here, kind of like looks weird on this one. Again, like with those ratchets, you gotta like find the right spot. But I think like this area looks a lot better on the new Cody. I will say, like, visually, I like this shade of orange. It is just like a tad brighter, which I do think that this is more accurate on the new one, but my eye likes this one just like the littlest bit more. Maybe because this has been the Cody in my collection thus far, but I do like that just a little bit of brighter orange. Otherwise, this guy looks fantastic in my opinion. And of course, you could make this guy look exactly like this guy, except obviously the height difference. But they're essentially the same figure, just on a different body. Someone was telling me that they updated the armor. I can't see really any major updates to the armor. You know, it looks like the same armor, just put on a little bit of a larger body, more proportionate body. So yeah, no, I think like I said, if you have this original Cody and will only display a Phase 1 or Phase 2 Cody, there's really no need to grab this new one. I think this one holds up perfectly in the collection and really does its job. Like, I will always have a Revenge of the Sith Cody in this pose. Whereas with this guy, I'm specifically going to display him Phase 1 and throw him with some Clone Wars characters. So I think each of them have their purpose in the collection. So if you did want to grab the new one as well, I'd say go for it and do what I am doing and just, you know, display them in different looks, which is absolutely fantastic. Or if you want to display one helmet off and maybe like he's talking to Obi-Wan or something like that from earlier in the film. So there's definitely some new options for this guy as far as displaying. So I think it was warranted for a re-release / 2.0. Alright, and since Hot Toys has not given us a 212 Grunt, I usually don't do a lot of Hot Toys customs. I have a few here and there when I feel like it is warranted, but I like to keep it stock Hot Toys for the most part. The enticing thing about this guy is he is actually using a Hot Toys helmet. I do believe just about everything else is 3D printed on him. but I think he gets the job done in the background. Obviously, you know, I'll probably pass on from him when we do get an official 212 grunt, but for the past few years, he has done his job well in having that representation with Cody as my only 212 figures in the collection. So, like I said, I think he does his job well, and for the time being, we will keep him in the collection. I did get him for like dirt cheap, and yeah, I do think he gets his job done, and I really, really like that helmet. Depending on what Hot Toys actually gives us, this helmet might be going on a official Hot Toys figure eventually. You never know, but like I said, for now, I really like him, and he will do his job well in the collection. And I cannot wait to add the Airborne Trooper in there with him and Cody, and really get a nice 212 display going. Maybe even throwing Grievous in there eventually when he comes out. So yeah, if you have any custom clone 212s, this Cody looks good next to them. And if you aren't familiar with the shades of orange, they actually are a little bit different in the film as well. Cody does have kind of a unique shade of orange. So yeah, I do think this looks just fine. Alright, and next to his Jedi General, Obi-Wan Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith. This Obi-Wan head sculpt has gotten such undeserved crap. For people will say it looks nothing. Who is that? Who is that? Shut the up. This head sculpt, I think, still holds up to today. Y'all about to see me crash out. It still holds up today. Yes, we do need a new Episode 3 Obi-Wan. But man, the amount of disrespect I see for this figure is, in my opinion, grossly undeserved. I think it looks just like Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. I would go so far to say I would not be upset if they updated the paint apps on this sculpt and gave it to us again. I think it looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It looks like Ewan McGregor. Yes, the new Clone Wars version is a little bit better. But hot take, I like the expression a little bit more on this one. I just, when I see the hate for this head sculpt, I'm appalled. I can't believe it. It's quite interesting. And yes, I've seen the mods of putting the new Clone Wars Obi-Wan head sculpt on this body. Yes, it looks amazing. Yes, we need a new Episode 3 Obi-Wan. But man, they nailed it the first time, in my opinion. And it's a great Obi-Wan figure. It has served me well in my collection. It is very good. People sleep on this figure, and I don't know, it's not bad. I don't know how you could look at that and be like, who's that? Like, shut up. Something really cool too that I am noticing when changing the helmet is if you do decide to display him as Tem, you can roll this down and have a flesh tone neck, which is very cool. But you guys already know the real reason I got this figure was for that beautiful Phase 1 Cody look. And yes, I know it is not accurate to what Phase 1 Cody looked like in the Clone Wars, but I get it to a certain extent. I have a buddy that Cody is his favorite character. Shout out to Hunter. Love you, buddy. He is very nostalgic for how clones looked. I assume, I guess I haven't really ever talked to him about this, but I assume as a kid he really looked at the details of these clone troopers. You know, as Star Wars kids, I guess you could say, we all had the visual dictionaries. We all had the you know, we needed to know everything about our favorite characters. And while I loved Cody, and his Phase 1 look actually became like one of my favorite looks more as an adult as to when I was a kid. As a kid, I loved Bakara, and I just loved the regular clones. And yeah, I was never super into the details. I just, if it looks like it's good enough for me, I guess. I guess maybe that comes from playing with the toys. And obviously back in the day, the toys never looked, you know, it's not like we were collecting Hot Toys back then and getting these minute details correct. Like, it was cool that they, you know, looked as good as they did. And so I guess I'm a little bit more lenient on the finer details of things like that. But like, I get it. I get it that some people were like that as kids and really focused on the details, and their favorite version of a character looked a specific way. And, you know, Hot Toys at $300 a pop isn't gonna go that extra mile to make it look exactly how it did when you were a kid, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So I do understand it, but I think from Hot Toys' standpoint, they've come out with, like, people behind the scenes have talked about the Commando situation, and it's like, Lucasfilm, this is what they approved. Otherwise, they weren't going to approve this other look. Now, maybe Hot Toys will do a full-fledged Phase 1 Cody. I think that's more likely if he shows up in some live-action series, unfortunately, which, fingers crossed, Ahsoka Season 2. I'm not going into the rumors, but if you heard the rumors, definitely a possibility that we could actually see both these guys on screen. Anyway, I get it, but I think, you know, from Lucasfilm's standpoint, they are going to approve a Revenge of the Sith Cody, as that is the anniversary this year. So I think Hot Toys just wanted to throw that Phase 1 look in, as a lot of people have been clamoring for that look. So I'm glad they did. This is a look that I have been dying to get on my shelf. So I am really, really, really happy to finally have a Phase 1 Cody for the collection. But all that being said, these two look absolutely phenomenal together. This Clone Wars Obi-Wan was my figure of the year for 2024. Fantastic figure. If you do not have him, I think you 100% need him. He is that good. And yeah, who else to pair better with him than Phase 1 Cody? It's going to be hard for me. I do have this Obi-Wan in a Detolf with Cad Bane right now. I love that display, but I might have to try to squeeze this Cody in there. I've always wanted to get a second one of these guys, actually, so maybe I'll keep him with Cad Bane, get a second one, display him with Cody, and then the Phase 1 Rex that I also do have review coming soon for as well. And then the young Ahsoka, also a review coming soon for her. And then I'll throw the Hayden Clone Wars version from the Ahsoka series as well in that display. So we'll see what ends up happening, but super happy that we're getting some just awesome Clone Wars love. So that is going to do it, guys, for the Commander Cody review. Was not expecting to spend almost 40 minutes talking about a Commander Cody re-release, but I did want to try to give like a full scope of information and hopefully persuade some people to buy this, or giving viewpoints of like, if you're never going to use this phase 1 head sculpt, like, and you already have the original Cody, unless you want a second one, like, there's really no need to go get this guy, and that's why he is a perfect exclusive in my opinion. Yes, he's a fan favorite character, but there already is a wide release for him, and I don't think there's enough here to justify upgrading. Yes, it is a slight upgrade in my opinion. I think the proportions just look a lot better. The paint app's just a little bit cleaner. Overall, presentation-wise, I think it just looks a little bit better. Although I do like the a little bit brighter orange on the original, as inaccurate as that may be. This is definitely a more accurate orange, but yeah, this is one you could take it or leave it, but if you want a phase 1 Cody, this is definitely the route to go. Again, I was talking with my buddy, I don't see them throwing the phase 1 helmet in with this release. I just don't see them going back and doing a dedicated phase 1 Cody, unfortunately. So if you really want that phase 1 representation on the shelf, I'd say 100% go out and get this. And like I said, I don't think this one is going to be that hard to find or get. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, had a blast shooting this review, actually. It was just really fun. I love clone troopers. It's my favorite thing to collect. And when I get this is one of my favorite looks for a clone trooper. So this was just super fun. Stay tuned, though. I do have the 212 Airborne coming up next. So stay tuned for that review. I cannot wait to get him open and show you guys what a masterpiece figure that guy looks like. But I did want to shoot this review first, so I had this guy open and ready for comparisons for that video. So stay tuned, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff. Shout out to my channel members. Y'all are the top G's. If you want to join channel memberships, feel free. There are different tiers. I think it starts at 99 cents a month. It just helps out the channel, supports the channel. But really, you get not a ton of benefits besides seeing reviews early and videos early. I have been doing just about every video you can see early with channel memberships, but don't feel like you have to. I don't feel like I provide enough of like a incentive to do that. It is just if you like my content and want to support the channel a little bit more than just liking, subscribing, doing all that stuff. But doing all that YouTube stuff, commenting, liking, that just means the world to me. That is enough for me. I love each and every one of you guys. So yeah, thank you to my channel members. Thank you all. And as always, may the Force be with you. Stay tuned for more and more reviews. I got tons. Ayy.